One problem that ELL students have is that there is so much information and they don't know which information is the most important, and they don't know how to sift through the information to know what it is that they actually need to learn. So give them a help with that. Give them some sort of organizer that helps them know this is the key information. And in that same vein, don't expect your English language learners to know all the little details. Pick out your power standards, pick out your most important information, and make sure that that's what your English language learners come away with. All of us in this era of big testing are responsible for our state standards and for our national standards in whatever content area we teach. It's important to look at those standards and look at the grade level expectations and know that although our students might not have the language to meet those standards, that doesn't mean that they can't learn the content area knowledge. When we scaffold, we take those expectations and we break it down into manageable chunks so that the students can learn or work towards those content standards, but have the language load lessened or burdened made easier for them so that they work more on content while they're learning the language that they will need in order to be successful. One of the standards for 7th and 8th graders in geography in Minnesota is that students will name and identify on a map all 50 states and territories in the United States. In the mainstream, they whip through that in about a week and they look at landmarks because they know that most of the students who were born in this country know the 50 states, at least know how to say them and are familiar generally with where they are. Yet for my students, the names of all of those states are brand new content knowledge for them. And so just learning the names of the states and where they are on the map will take a couple weeks for my students. And I need to find ways to help them be able to work toward that content standard while making and building the language that they need in geography. So for example, with my United States unit, the first thing my students do is learn how to pronounce the names of the states. We do various games to repeat them. Students spell them. They say them for each other. They have flashcards. They learn the abbreviations. They learn to match states with the capitals. They draw them on the map. They draw it in the map in regions. They draw it on the map blank. They use the abbreviations. My students do much more playing with the language around the 50 states that would be ridiculous to do in the mainstream and superfluous. The students don't need that much work. But my students, because they're coming from a position of no background knowledge, they just need a little bit more work to get to the academic standards of the mainstream students.